Good afternoon, dear students. So today is 11th November 2020, and today I will deal with a topic which is important for both the classes, that is, the students of PG, MA, semester third, who had opted the population studies paper, and also for the students of BA semester 5th, who has opted the optional paper of population studies. So this common topic I will just deal with you all, and that's why I am taking a common class for you both, dear students. And the topic is sources of population data. And earlier in the both classes, I have dealt with the components of population, size of population, characteristics of population, density of population, what is fertility, what is mortality, what is migration, and what are the various theory of population. So regarding that, keeping that all in your mind, let us understand the importance of population data. So dear students, let's start about the demographic events, and that narrates population data. So in demographic data, and information about different aspects of population is collected. Okay, and this type of information is known as demographic events. So just keep it in your mind that there is a demographic event. There are many demographic events, and for many these all are the social issues, but for us that all are data, demographic data. So let us talk about all the events. So let's talk, and that demographic events is called as vital events or vital statistics also. So let us start from first to last. First, we are talking about the event of stillbirth. So students, children who could not come out of the womb of the mother, but the women remained pregnant for 28 weeks. That is an important event of a human life. Okay, and that is called as a stillbirth. So stillbirth is a concept for you, and that is also data for us. Okay, then second comes fetal death. So when child might not born either due to abortion with or without the consent of the parents. So you all know that in our country, in India also, this type of events happens regularly in rural areas or in a orthodox society, and that called as a fetal deaths. Okay, and then come child death. That is deaths within a period of 1 year after delivery. And I have already told you about the child mortality, infant mortality, neonatal mortality. These all are the measurements of the mortality rate. But here I am talking about the demographic events which will convert into a data for the student of population studies. Okay. And dear students, now the next is a live birth. After these three events, again the demographic data turns out from a live birth. Then there is a very important event, because this live birth is a major component of population change. Because with a live birth, we used to say the size of population will increase. So this is a event. And after live birth, next step is event in any human being's life is a childhood. In childhood, now everybody needs schools, everybody needs toys, everybody needs better facilities for the children, everybody needs children parks. So childhood is also an event. And then comes adulthood. When we becomes adult, now we have to think about our college education, university education, jobs, etc. And then we are here to search for the jobs. And then after the adulthood and settlement of the job, we move for the marriage. So marriage is an institution in India, and marriage is also a demographic event. And dear students, after marriage, then the same story begins of a pregnancy. And but before that, there are miscarriage and abortion also. So these all are also the events. And then after that, separation and divorce is also event. And then fecundity and fertility is also event. And then cohort means a group of a people of a age, that is called as cohort. For example, in India, from 18 to 35 years age, we are the youth country in the world, where maximum youths live. So in this cohort, 18 to 35 age is called cohort. And last but not least, in the subject of population is a migration, because in the story of development, migration is playing very important role. So migration is also a event, demographic events. So these all are the important demographic events, or we may call it as a vital events or vital statistics. So now students, let's talk about this population data. And we can say that the primary sources of the population data on the population size, characteristics and demographic structure are the census, projections, the registrations, migration reports and the surveys. So these all types are known as a demographic data, which I will deliver you in the next slide. So when we will talk about how to identify the different sources of data, because in syllabus there is a term written, identification of data. Okay, so dear students, let's start that the demographic data and vital statistics are useful tools in determining a community's health status, deciding what's the best way for providing health services, and planning a public health program, and last but not least is evaluating a program's effectiveness. So as earlier I told in online class, all these sources of data, all the sources of data and its importance, because in this COVID-19 era, we witnesses all this importance of the health, of the plan, of the implementation of any program, government program. Okay, so in COVID era, we also make our mind how to strengthen our health facilities, how to plan for our health program, and how to determine the community's health status. We all witnessed in this COVID era, and this is done due to the collection of population data. So dear students, there are two main aspects of population on which geographers or economists generally require data. What are those? The state of population at a given time for a territorial unit, including its geographical distribution and its composition, and the dynamics of population in time and space, as a result of the combined effects of births, deaths and migration. So data pertaining to these two aspects are collected in two different ways. So very carefully you have to listen that while in the case of farmer, data is collected at a particular point of time. Okay, and the latter refers to the recording of events on a continuous basis. So this is two types of data collection in population studies. Okay, and the former, generally known as a stock data, is represented by the census and various social surveys, and provides information on size, distribution and various social, demographic and economic attributes of the population. And dear students, the latter on the other hand is known as flow data and relates to the registration of such events as births, deaths and migration. So very carefully you have to remember that there are two types of data. One is called as stock data and other is called as flow data. And I have told you both. Okay. And then come the sources of vital statistics and demographic data. So we may start that there are two main aspects of population. Okay, and this all I already told you. And then the various types of demographic data in both the syllabuses, in BA syllabus and MA syllabuses as well, you have to write about the various types of demographic data. So you have to remember these 5 types of demographic data, and this is the basic questions, and this is the major question form in the both subjects, both classes, in BA also and MA also. So the various types is of 5. First is called a census, very important source of data. Second is registration or vital events. Third is sample surveys. Fourth is population register. And fifth is international publication. So you have to deal with all these 5 types of demographic data when question will ask in the examination, main examination. So maybe the question may ask only about the census. You have to deal with about the census. And when any questions deal with different types of demographic data, so you have to deal all these 5 types in a very brief manner. So let us start about the census. What is census? This is a very important types of data, and taking this into the view, I will stop the first class. Okay, so let us start. What is census? So census is the single largest source of data for population studies all over the world. Okay, though modern census is the phenomena of a more recent times in the past, in the 17th and 18th centuries, evidence indicate that enumeration of people were carried out in different parts of the world even during the ancient time. Okay, and the purpose of such enumeration was, however, very limited. That is due for the tax collection or for the military conspirations or both. Earlier it was limited, but in the modern times the use of census is very wide scope. Due to census, science, social science, technologies, each and every aspects of life, we can make plan for that. So the scope of census is widened in the modern time. But when we recall about the history of censuses, we can say that the earliest example of modern type of census is known to have been conducted in New France. Present day is Quebec in Canada in 1665 and Ireland in 1703. So this is a brief history. Maybe you have to deal in the question or in answer, as an answer, but I have to deal with all history also. So the first periodical census began in the United States in 1719. Okay, and in Britain and France in 1802. This is referred from the Cox and Woods book. Okay, and by the middle of the 19th century, almost the whole of Europe had developed this census system. And at the present time, almost all the countries of the world, including India, excluding a few exceptions, maybe China, okay, conduct census counting at regular interval. So this is a brief history of census, and then when you have to define, there are many definitions, but I will tell you only one beautiful definition of defined by United Nations, that is called how could you define this census? So you can define as per United Nations that census is the total process of collecting, compiling and publishing demographic, economic and social data pertaining at a specified time or times to all persons of a defined territory. So this is a common definition used for each and every countries, because each and every countries needs these data for the sake of their development process, and each and every data have to collect the census, and they collect it, they compile it, and they publish it for the public, for the economists, for the demographers, for the geographers to make the further plan or to make their further projects. Okay, so you have to take one definition, and then comes about the methods of census. This is very much important. You have to deal these all two. Two types of census are there, methods of census. First is called as de facto method, that means one night system, and second de jure method, that is time period system. And when you define it, we can say that while in the de facto approach used in Australia, for instance, each individual is recorded at the place where he or she is found at the time of enumeration. So that's why it is called one night system. Okay. And as against this, in de jure approach, as in the United States, people are recorded at their normal or usual place of residence. So, students, in some countries, however, a combination of both the approaches is used. For example, in India, Brazil and England. So when you are talking about the methods of census, you have to talk about two types of methods, de facto and de jure, and you have to give examples. Okay. And then comes registration methods, which I will deal you in the later class. Thank you and take care of yourself.